Throughout the season, when in trouble in the second half, they managed to find another gear. Can they do it with time running out? There's on Ingram to bat the ball away. Williams could tie it with a three. He goes! Tied at 38 seconds to go. Oh, what are you doing? He threw him out of the ballgame. You gotta be paping me. What in the hell are you doing? What are you doing, Wagner?
No, really, stick around the game. You listen to an old veteran like me. I'll show you how to talk on the air, boy. You know, to TV. No, really, TV, cameras and going on and shit like that. Huh? I'm telling you, man. I'll show you how to make a living with this stuff. I'll show you how to have the people eating right out of here.
My enemies are white people, not Vietcongs or Chinese or Japanese. You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. You my opposer when I want equality. You won't even stand up for me in America for my religious beliefs, and you want me to go somewhere and fight, but you won't even stand up for me here at home.
Alrighty. We're back.
Hey.
We are back. It's Monday.
It's Monday, baby.
How you guys feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm sporting the Black Sox today. This is the Baltimore Black Sox, not the Chicago Black Sox of 100 years ago, but it's the Baltimore Black Sox of the Negro Leagues.
Grade him down the hatch.
Create them down the hatch. Dude, apparently, I can't remember if I said this last week, but apparently, fucking Roth was just, shocked at you taking Kratom, by the way. It was, so stark to him.
You should
I
send
went and
him
got a physical today, and the nurse asked, she's like, drinking, smoking? And I'm like, oh, yeah, both, for sure. And then, but she didn't ask for any drug use. I was going to be like, well, that's a funny question. Depends what you call a drug, or merely a ground up leaf powder type thing. Who can say what is a drug?
I got my giant Michigan cup because I am extremely hungover still, so from the Tool show. So
Did you like it?
Yeah, I had a pretty good time. It was a lot of fun. I smoked a shitload of weed, and which I don't really do much.
yeah, I know.
And so that was fun. Me and my buddy did a lot of high-fiving, where we would, this is fucking awesome, and then high five. And I also talked to the kids sitting next to me who started a band, and they're really into Radiohead, and they told me that I was extremely cool because I've seen Radiohead twice. So
Wow, look at
they
that.
were, the teens, they like me. I am so cool. I still have some gravitas with the teens.
That's nice.
I've seen Radiohead once, so I'm only half as cool, but I will accept that.
I am 0% of the cool.
Yeah, I was very surprised. They had their own band that they told me they were signed. I don't know what that means. I don't know I didn't get the name of the band because I was also pretty drunk, and I
Was it a live show? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to change subject. Go ahead.
I was say, because here's how I break down live shows. Was it a live show that had the music, or was it mostly light show? Like, how were the two factors interplaying?
Oh, it was both. It was both. It also had the those Windows 98 Winamp type visualizations. They have not updated them since the mid 90s. Still good though. Still very good. Creepy humanoid people touching faces and shit like that as they expand into a fractal. Lasers go off. I was also in the very, very top row, which was kind of funny. Like going to an arena show is always kind of weird, but it's kind of fun in this. I mean, because it's just so fucking huge, you know. So.
For arena shows, do you like you get up? Do you like sway because there's not much dancing room you have, or like how do you play that?
I think it depends. We did because we were on the end of a row, so we got up and stood for a little bit in the aisle. But like I feel like more for Tool. Yeah, no, I was just high as hell watching lasers. So I was kind of like lounging back would be how I describe my. It was like a triple threat stance where I could easily reach my beer, my weed pen, and high five. So
that's fundamentals right there.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it was
Speaking of triple threats,
yeah.
I was at the NXT Takeover show on a couple days ago on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
And for those who don't know, NXT is it developed as like a minor leagues of WWE. Now it's sort of gone mainstream, so its quality has kind of declined. But the NXT takeovers are always incredible wrestling shows. I think it's pretty much, if anybody who likes wrestling definitely should watch it. But yeah, I went there with my buddy Ricky, who's been on the podcast I think once. From a wrestling standpoint, dope show. Definitely some of the best live matches I've ever seen. It was War Games. So, Adam, do you know what War Games is?
I think so, but I can't tell you. Yeah, I can't remember.
They put two rings side by side,
Uh-huh.
and then they put a giant steel cage over both of the rings, and then the wrestlers just like go at it. Usually it's like a team, so it was like 4-on-4 matches, like the whole night. Yeah, no, it was just really good quality wrestling, good stuff. From a storyline perspective, though, it lacked because WWE will always WWE itself, and NXT, since it's gone mainstream, it's been more so like that. So they kind of like had this thing where they said, oh, we got this huge surprise at the end, and then it was just like this guy coming out that you see every single week. So there was really no surprise. But yeah, but it was definitely a good show. Definitely like one of those things where like when you're watching it, you're like, this is why I fucking love wrestling. Yeah.
That's tight.
Oh yeah. I'm excited to go to some Wizards games here. I have not gone, but they are still bad. But they are entertaining bad. No, because they're still bad like last year. But they have, I think, I read like the second most efficient offense in the NBA. I mean, they still give up like 130 points a game and lose most games.
They had an exciting game with the Rockets. I watched that.
They do. They put up point.
Rui Hachimura is a fun player. I think he's very good.
Hachimura, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's
of course, Beal balls out.
What'd you say?
Beal's a baller.
Yeah,
Hachimura
he still got it.
He's good.
Speaking of that, I'm going to the John Wall Invitational after Christmas this year, which is like a big high school tournament, I guess. It's going to have all the big players. It's here in Durham because John Wall's from Raleigh. So he hosts it, I guess, or put his name on it. I am really pissed. I don't know if I didn't tell you. I don't think I told you guys this, but so my buddy that I work with was telling me, he goes, oh man, I forgot to mention to you, like, you got to go to the Pro-Am this year. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And it's like, apparently, like, they call it, like, we found like a Ringer article or Grantland article or something about it, and they called it the Rucker of the South. But I guess like John Wall and shit like would play, like all these pro players would put together teams. Like Rashid would put like a team of like Duke, former Duke guys or UNC guys together.
Oh yeah.
But I guess the NCAA fucking got involved because it was hosted at NC Central, the HBCU in Durham, and the NCAA got involved, of course, and like said you can't do it or something. So now it doesn't exist anymore. So I was like making plans around, yeah, like he's like telling me about this shit. I'm like, dude, I'm like taking work off for these like 3 days of this. I'm like going down there as early as possible. I'm gonna just be hanging out with this all day. It's gonna be the coolest thing. And then we like figured out it's like it hasn't happened for like 3 years. So
Jesus Christ.
all because of the
It's like,
NCAA.
what kind of recruiting advantage is AC Central gonna get? You know what I mean? It's
I
like
don't know.
we're bringing top high school prospects. They're the best in the country, and NC Central's like, maybe consider NC Central, and they're like, absolutely not. We're not coming here.
And Central's a
Like,
decent.
no-
They're a decent mid-major or low-major squad. They make the tournament all the
They in
time. Yeah, they're in the MEAC.
MEAC, yeah.
I think they've won the MEAC tournament past. I know for sure 2 years, but I think it's 3. So
They're good. I mean, actually,
Yeah.
they're not going to bring like the type of dudes who you would say like, oh, you're currying this relationship to get like the inside track on recruits. It's like
Yeah,
NC
yeah.
Central is not recruiting that type of guy.
I
NC
think it was
Central's-
more. I think it was more that like guys would play in it. Guys would play. I don't know if they had like. I want to say all the guys that I was reading that played like the summer of high school or whatever were all like already going. The summer after they graduated, I think they were all like going to the schools they were going to go to already. And college players did play in it, but so I guess it's like what the NCAA had a problem with or something. I don't know.
You're gonna get- it
They were
should
just
be
mad they're
filtered.
not making any money off of it. I'm sure is what it was. Yeah. So yeah. So speaking of the NCAA, why don't we? I think that's a good segue for now. I'm all like incensed about the NCAA ruining like my fucking. I thought I was like it was like I literally found out like a thing about this city that's like holy fuck like that's like one of those that's like a big city thing that like is like that you can't get anywhere else or whatever and it's like 10-minute bike ride from my house and then anyways so in recent NCAA shenanigans, James Weissman, the Memphis power forward, is that what he's listed? Is he listed as at the 5 or the 4?
He's a center.
Yeah,
He's a center.
He's a center.
Solid 7 foot. He's 7 foot.
Very exciting player. Definitely right now, I would say the consensus number 1 overall pick. It's very early, and I think people aren't sure. Anyways, So he kind of recap what happened was Penny Hardaway, before he was the coach of Memphis, gave James Weissman's family some money to move to Memphis because he was an AAU coach at the time. And so he gave him money to move, and I believe he played on his AAU team. He played on the Memphis East High School where Penny Hardaway was the coach.
And that would have been okay, right? If it was just
I
that.
believe so. But I think where it seems that something happened was Penny Hardaway also gave $1 million to the Memphis basketball program in 2008, which then qualifies him as a booster now. So they what? I guess forever. It seems like. Now he's just the coach, so I don't know if he's still a booster.
That's a loophole. That's a good loophole.
Yeah.
The NCAA they started this thing once they found out about how he couldn't play. Memphis kind of said fuck off and kept playing him during the appeal or whatever. And in a very bizarre turn of events, the NCAA still suspended Weissman for 12 games, which he's already served 2. They also fined him the amount of money, the $11,500 that Penny Hardaway gave him. They fined him to donate to charity, which is very strange, considering I don't know where they think he's supposed to get $11,000.
Right. Does this have anything to do? I mean, is this going to be something that we see more now because NCAA players can make money off of their name?
I don't know.
Are they all correlated?
They They can't, and they won't for a while. It's a so to recap, California passed that bill. Other states passed a bill, but those bills don't kick in for at least 3 or 4 years. And it's my suspicion that those bills were only passed to put pressure on the NCAA to
The
like
NCAA, they did universally say that you could do it. Here, I'm looking up to see.
I know it's not for a couple of years. It's not for like nobody in college right now will benefit from that rule. I don't think.
Let's see. They're gonna work out the details. NCAA plans to allow college athletes to get paid for use of their names, images. It doesn't really. I think they're forming some sort of committee. They're
forming some sort of subcommittee to a committee.
It will move forward with ongoing. Says literally the quote is they're gonna move forward with ongoing efforts to make adjustments.
Oh man,
that was exactly what I like. The joke I did was like they're gonna form a subcommittee of a committee to investigate.
The board's actions today creates a path to enhance opportunities for student athletes while ensuring they compete against students and not professionals. Enhance opportunities. Sounds like my fucking boss.
Somewhere in rural Iowa, it's like a snowy night, and somewhere in a Motel 6, Pete Buttigieg bolts awake and has like, how did this boner get here? How am I rock hard? How am I rock solid right now? Because someone said enhance opportunities 3 times into a mirror. And
enhancement to opportunities available to player I don't know, player contractors. I don't know. I don't have boss. I can't do the boss speak. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that is a good question though, Maurice, is that it probably will be more prevalent to try and get back the money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and like even that, I think it also maybe just like a thing in spite, you know, because like I don't really think that I feel like they care more about the power and control.
I mean, the whole thing with Weissman just feel very spiteful. Like
it is 100%.
Like it feels very much like they're like oh well, Memphis is getting too big too fast with the Penny Hardaway thing, and like they're getting this #1 recruit in the country, and like it's like why don't we cut them down to size a little bit here and remind them they're not fucking Duke, like they can't do this shit. Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's like you want to cut them down to size, but you also like know where your bread is buttered. So it's like you spitefully like the penalty is spiteful because it's definitely Maurice, the case of like, oh, you want to be treated like professionals? Oh, I guess we'll treat you like professionals. Fine.
Exactly.
Like that. Also, if this were a kid at like NC Central, they would be done. They would just be like, you have no eligibility, you are ineligible. Like, because it's like this, because the NCAA is like, damn, that dude's going to get good ratings. Like, I guess 12 games. That sound fair? 12 games? Like, so it's like spiteful and what's the word? Just like pitiful. Spiteful and pitiful at the same time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The only other thing I could find, I couldn't find anything on a player getting fined ever.
In the NCAA.
In the NCAA. But what I did find is that Virginia Tech specifically, but it looks like it's like a couple other coaches, like Tommy Tuberville. But this one they have a fucking. What are you laughing about?
Well, his name is Tommy Tuberville.
Oh,
but I think it's funny.
That's right.
Funnier to say Tuberville, like it's tuberculosis, like it's got some.
I was thinking like a tuber, like a potato.
Yeah, like potato.
Anyways, but here I found like a little like this is actually like a screenshot of like fines assessed for like missing class and like getting stupid penalties and dumb shit like that, like just crazy fucking psycho coach shit. So like, yeah, that's the only thing I can really find. And then so like they said, they can't fine you for performance in the NCAA bylaws. So like that's the only thing it like seems like it was actually covered. It's just like, are they gonna like, is he gonna pay the fine and then they're immediately gonna be like, oh, where'd that money come from, huh? Like, cause
Yeah, exactly.
because people are trying to set up like a GoFundMe for him to just pay it.
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so he has to serve the 12-game suspension no matter what, right?
Yes.
What happens if he doesn't pay the fine? He just can't play?
I don't know, because what's really weird is like they say it has to be paid by the end of his last game, and so it's like he's only going to be there for 1 year. Like I would just not pay it. Like you know what I mean?
And then he'll be drafted out, and then that's it, right?
Oh, that fine's getting paid though. That fine is getting paid from some used car dealership guy is like, well, I've given money to Memphis, so I can't do it. But if I give $11,000 to my my doctor friend who does plastic surgery, then we'll just funnel it through him. They will $11,000 is nothing. They will find.
Oh, I'm not saying that the $11,000 can't come out of somewhere because obviously he already was given $11,000 by somebody. But yeah, I think So Jay Williams is the one who I guess started the GoFundMe. Which I guess yes, the real Jay Williams, as his Twitter is actually called. I hope we eventually get famous one day, so I can change my handle to the real Crappy Oats.
Except no imitators.
Yeah. But yeah, it says that the GoFundMe would not satisfy the repayment requirement. Probably is like what somebody.
What?
Yeah.
It has to be from your. You have to. You're crying up to take out a loan, or else it doesn't count. It's not real money.
I don't know, dude. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Yeah. That's
so real quick. So
that's wild.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other thoughts on this? Because I have to ask a question. Very important.
What's your question?
It's just
cool,
so. Speaking of fines and punishment, granted, this punishment here is clearly unprecedented and unnecessary. How, just like real quick, how would you handle this Astro situation? Because there's just so much with it that I kind of like don't know what to think about it.
With what situation?
The Astros.
How do we jump to the Astros?
Because they're thinking about like how much we're gonna fine them, and they're talking about like the max. They're talking about like the max they can fine them is like $2 million. But then people are saying, well,
we have to use leather around. I gotta get in the punishment mentality. I gotta get my leather.
Hold on. I'm gonna grab some Foucault.
This podcast is going downhill.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the fine thing always just kind of feels stupid to me. I don't know. I mean, I get that it's probably an effective punishment in a way, but I mean, I think it is kind of apples and oranges, though. Obviously, in this situation, because the whole point is like, how can you fine someone who allegedly doesn't make any money?
Right.
You know? So.
And who needed $11,000 just to move to the city in the first place?
Yeah.
What do you think about like? I think with the Astros, like you gotta fire some people, right? And like not.
Some people should straight up be banned from baseball for sure.
Yeah, not. You need to like figure out. I think. Because what they're probably going to do, which is like what always happens, is they'll find some low-level lackey who like implemented it, and then they'll like fire that guy. What they should do an investigation to figure out like how high did it go, find the highest person in management who knew about this, and ban them for life.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Well, do you think they should ban the players? Because clearly we saw Altuve. Like, I mean, obviously they all know it because they were using it, but.
But the thing is, though, but here's
It would be
what I
funny,
was thinking
though.
about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Nate.
I think it would be super funny because what you could do that isn't banning people for life, but would be extremely funny, especially if you hate the Astros, is all of the players just ban the entire team for like 50 games. They'll do one thing, but two things. One, the Astros probably won't make the playoffs, so you will punish them by they won't make the playoffs next year. And then two, it'll be extremely funny having only one team have to field an entire replacement team against other major league teams, and just it'll be an extremely funny thing, in my opinion, to just have them be like 1-49. It'll just be like we'll never see anything like it. We're the only team that has to have scrubs.
Listen.
Facing it'd be so funny, wouldn't it?
As a fan of the White Sox, I cannot approve of that message, because the way that the Sox have been playing the last couple years, we would get swept by that minor league Astros team.
It'd be 47-3.
I don't know how I feel about that. I do think, though, I understand what you're saying. I do think it should start at the very top, and the punishments should absolutely start there, and then kind of work its way down. As far as the players, though, here's how I feel. It's like there's no way that this started and ended with the players. And there's no way a player went to manager and was like, hey, let's do this. And then manager was like, oh, I don't know. And then the player was like, no, let's do it. But I could absolutely see it going. Management went to a player or two or all of them. And then the player or players is like, I don't know. That seems a little off. And then the manager's like, no, we're going to do it. I feel like, especially if you're not a superstar, but even if you are Jose Altuve, I still feel like the minimal. But there's no pressure from management. There's no pressure from ownership. There's no pressure from anybody that's in an executive part of the organization to do what they did. So for me, all of the punishment really should go to them. All of the banning, the fining, all that shit. Because some people have been talking about stripping Altuve of his MVP.
Definitely.
That's
no, and I only suggest the 50 game. I only suggest the 50 game suspension for everybody, and I believe they should be paid. Everyone should have the full year's pay. I only suggest the 50 games thing only because it would be extremely funny, and that's the only reason why. To be honest,
his entire team was just banned.
To just watch them go 3-47. It'd be so cool. But they get paid the same. It'd be fine.
Yeah.
Everyone would get paid.
I like how you kept that 3 in there.
Nice goof of the year.
Yeah. So I guess kind of tying it back to the Weissman thing, I guess I think it's I don't really know about fines. Yeah, I don't know. They're lame. I don't know. They're
where does that money go anyway?
I think it goes to charity. I think it's some sort of charity fund. That's probably a slush fund for MLB.
It's with Bezos or Bill Gates, whoever the fuck recently gave away $1 billion to their own fund. But I know usually. I know what it is with Wiseman, but is that what it usually is? It's you're fined, so you have to give this money to charity. Where do those fines usually go?
Yeah, I think I can't remember the specifics. I've looked it up before, but it's essentially. It's not you pay the NBA or the MLB the money. It goes to somewhere. It goes somewhere else. Yeah.
NCAA is you must donate $11,500 to the Bill Gates Foundation.
Bill Gates is curing malaria in NCAA D1 college basketball.
Mosquito tents for all D1 teams.
So I guess my kind of final thought on the NCAA, it is kind of wild seeing so many former players. It seems basically the entire NBA just openly disparages the NCAA, which I think is kind of funny.
Yes.
And it obviously shows something. It is kind of interesting because unlike Major League Baseball, where like they openly like don't let the players or like the players being developed like are not allowed access to like a professional union that they could in theory be part of. It's like it is kind of interesting because like the NBA can't do it, so I wonder what would happen if if they had the same kind of opportunity to like organize developmental level players, or with developmental level players, like if you would see them acting as woke as they are now, or now it's just good for the brands. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's
so
what that's kind of like where the pettiness sets in, because like they tried that. Remember, like Northwestern football a few years ago tried to unionize. And,
they were banned. They were banned. Like that was they went to court and a federal judge said that they couldn't organize.
Well, there was also a team vote. The team voted, and the team voted not to unionize.
Yeah.
But it was in like the face of like tampering, because the NCAA put out statements saying, like, again, very petty stuff. They were like, "Ooh, I hear you want to unionize. That might open up a real Pandora's box for you. We don't really know what would happen with that. We kind of think there'd be some adverse consequences for that. So I don't know. You can have your vote. Go ahead, please vote. But like, I'm just saying that if it should happen, bad things will happen to you."
That's not what I'm kind of like concerned about, I guess, is what I was saying. What I was saying is would you see these NBA players that are like coming out and being like, oh yeah, the NCAA, like it's a fucking scam, like playing college was like a total waste of my time. Would you see them continue to do that if the stakes were, oh yeah, like we can organize these guys in the union and it might cut into some of my bottom line? Would you see? Because like that's what, because in baseball, like they don't like. It seems like there's a general resentment, or like not resentment, but they'll quickly cede concessions that involve the minor league players, and the minor league players are not in the union. So you know, you kind of wonder if like this posturing is just like kind of like general NBA, like to build our brand, like we can make like non-controversial, like semi controversial statements in a non-controversial way. But like when it ever comes down to fucking like, yeah, when it comes to like checks getting cashed, like then people like, you know, take a different tune. So I wonder.
The NFL Players Association already does that, like beyond just like amateur players. Like there are many documented cases of the bottom 70% of the NFL saying like, this contract, the NFLPA contract, does not work for me. And it's because, like, frankly, the Tom Brady's of the league dictate the standards, and the contract is working for the Tom Brady's of the league, and they have outsized power. So, like, yeah, no, absolutely. I think you'd absolutely see that. Well, I don't know. The NFL is the NBA is woker, but who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
I don't know. I think maybe we might have the chance, though, to find out if they're already finding players. That kind of, I think, at least signals that they're kind of preparing to have paid players. Which, I mean, they obviously are going to have paid players. But, like, if they keep doing this, then they're probably going to – I'm not a lawyer, but I would assume they're opening themselves up to lawsuits about having to classify the players as some sort of employee of the university. So,
but Maurice, you are right, because like I expect them to be like, okay, great. Now every student, every basketball player will have a stipend of $25,000 a year. Oh, by the way, we're fining you $20K.
But wearing the wrong shoes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Something
shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we move on, I just want to do a quick plug again for the Sports Spectacular live stream coming up on Saturday, December 7th. It's in the morning. It's going to be us in the same room for once. Maurice is still up in the air. Hopefully, maybe he'll just come in the middle, surprise us all.
You gotta play my music though. You gotta play some Jay-Z when I enter the room.
you're canceled for that. Not yeah.
Come on, man.
Jay
Dude, separate
Z
the artist from the art.
Jay Z is
Separate the artist from the art.
Jay-Z's
Separate
art
the
is all about
artist.
Jay-Z's art is all about being a gargantuan asshole in the ways that he is a
No,
gargantuan.
his art is about uplifting the black community through black business because that is the way to freedom. That is how we end the struggle is black capitalism. You
Yes.
just don't understand. You just don't understand. You don't
I'm
get
sorry. I forgot.
Podcast. Have a good night, everybody. We just turned the stream off.
I forgot all that liberation theory that you've given me is black people just need to own a fried chicken sandwich food truck with with like a pop-up barber shop in the back.
That's what I've been telling you this whole time. The whole 4 years I've known you.
He is so formed up. We're getting him absolutely just on the edge the whole show.
Anyways, yeah, the Sports Spectacular is going to be a lot of fun. Same bat place, same bat channel. Well, no, wait, bat channel. It's not the same bat time. It's a new bat
That's
time,
right.
but
Same bat time, same bat channel.
yes.
Same bat folks.
Yes, exactly. Well, some new bat folks too. We have Gabe Fernandez of the former Deadspin, Audrey Bowler. I think we're gonna do some. I think we settled. She's gonna do some astrology charts for our fandoms to give us to tell us if the suffering will end.
Do we need to provide our birth information?
I think so. She asked me she said she could read our charts, which I have no idea what the fuck that means. So I don't know what I have to do to prepare for it.
I think it just means she definitely needs like birth time, birthplace, and like birth date and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, the exciting ones are like when you add in the wrinkle of what time of day you were born. That's when you get really down nitty gritty on it.
Yeah,
well, dude, they go pretty in depth. Like it's a science, man. It's a science.
That's basically that's a large chunk of Audrey's podcast is providing astrological information about various NHL players. So, yeah, we also are having Sam Knight offering up his financial advice, in which involves making lots of bets on Bovada. And we have
real quick.
What's that?
Before we move on, if you could just ask Audrey if she could, when she's reading the charts of the NHL players, if there's any way that she can ascertain why so many of the very few black NHL players feel the need to marry a white woman who looks like she was literally cut from a cookie cutter stencil.
They kind of all look like Tommy Lahren. They kind of have that
exactly.
Look. Yeah,
they all do. It's just like thickness varies though. Like thin, medium thin, thick. Like that varies, but like everything else is the same.
All I'll say is, and I don't want to be a corrector about this, it's Tommy Lahren, and I only say that because it's incredible how many times you fuck up names, and I love it. Please don't.
That one was on purpose though.
Samantha Laurinaitis. Yeah. That's what we call her.
What do you say, bud?
Jesus. Well, I guess
I love it.
Maurice, do you want to? You had a little bit of something revolving around.
Yeah, a little something.
Yeah, you had something in the pot.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Part of the reason why I felt the need to really put this on the pod is because Nate was talking shit the last couple weeks, and not he didn't say the word, but may have suggested that I should be canceled. Yeah, that's the word. That I should be canceled for alluding to certain black athletes as being coons for marrying outside their race. And let me just go out there and say, because Nate is definitely not biased at all in this conversation, but when it comes to interracial relationships, Here's how I feel. Okay, it's not for me, but if you want to do it, then you're going to hell. Okay, that's how I feel about it. But
I think that's good.
Wait, I'm pretty sure last time I saw you in person before my wedding, you said, dude, I am dating white women again.
no, it's not what happened. Don't lie. Don't lie to the people. Do not lie to the people. Okay. Here's what happened. All right. In 2018. All right. 2018, I moved back to Illinois. All right. I didn't know anybody. I dated 2 white women. All right. I went on 4 dates with each of them. That was it. All right. 2019 hit, and it was back to the old Maurice. All right. Same dog, same old shit. Right? Don't say that. Don't you dare say that about me.
We're gonna make you pay bonuses for every white date you've been on.
That's
You
true.
have to go down to the local Catholic priest and pay the price.
I've already.
We're gonna find you. We're gonna find you for it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, I had to pay for the date. I've already been fined.
Anyways,
Not
the point though. So Patrick Patterson, who's a player in the NBA, and as a fan of the show, Mark Lamont Hill describes him. He's a deep, deep, deep reserve player. Definitely some shade there. But, so apparently, someone dug up like an old Instagram post from last year. Patrick Patterson is married to a white woman. Basically, somebody commented on the post saying like, you're only with this white woman because you're rich. And at some point he responds with, and I quote, "So I should settle for a bulldog and act like I'm happy with my life and preach, keep it in your race to the world, as if Dr. King didn't fight/die for equality, acceptance, all cultures loving one another, and no hate, question mark." So this man marries a white woman, gets called out on it, and immediately responds with, "Fuck you, black women are bulldogs. Why would I marry them? This is what Dr.King wanted anyway."
And we all know.
I have a wet dream.
Yeah. What'd you say, Dave?
We all know that classic Dr. King quote where he goes, "I don't care who you marry, white, black, bulldog, whoever you want to marry."
Exactly.
You know, that's what I think he's pointing out.
Dog.
I think what Maurice is saying is that interracial relationships will lead to bestiality. It's a slippery slope.
That's very true. Yeah, I mean, well, only if you're black though, because if you're white, it's a step up. But if you're black and you're dating someone white, it's like you're clearly stepping down in the world. And white, it's just a downhill from there. I'm sorry.
I've lived my life in the gutter already. And it'd be a little deeper.
That's pretty wild. There's definitely something going on that he's not dealing with in his head.
I know there's like a lot to laugh about the situation. Mm-hmm. If there is one serious, there are several serious takeaways, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is sort of like a, like white supremacy is very real, and this notion that dating white people sort of like exalts you in society, like that is, I feel like that's definitely a thing. I think it's also kind of overplayed because most black men, even most rich black men, still do marry white women or do marry black women. But there is definitely like this thing culturally where like marrying a white woman is kind of seen like as a trophy. And like, well, once you get to a certain point in life, like marrying white women is like kind of like the next step, And so, I mean, that's kind of like the more serious thing that I think Patrick Patterson is really hitting here, unknowingly, because he's a part of it. And then also there's a thing of just like dehumanizing and comparing black women to animals. Like we saw it all the time with Michelle Obama. Obviously, Michelle Obama is trash for a number of reasons, but like we can hit her hard on those reasons. We don't have to compare her to monkeys or gorillas or chimpanzees or whatever.
Or
you know,
say
they
she's
wanted.
a man. That was a
Yeah,
big one.
exactly. That definitely was, and it was definitely meant to defeminize her and masculinize her, and it was a very anti-black attack towards her.
Are you
Especially
sure?
since
Are you sure calling her a man was an attempt to masculinize her?
anyway, anyway, gosh, you're canceled now. But yeah, but no, but I mean, it's so I just my main issue, like I said, I don't care about him marrying a white woman. That's whatever. But like the fact that you are marrying a white woman and are recognizing that that has something to do with your status, and then dehumanizing black women on top of that, it's like, dude, just like eat your new like green bean casserole and just like shut your mouth, you know?
Wait, I gotta say, I have to ask. Do you not like green bean casserole? Because I will die.
I don't really like green bean. It's fucking. It's one of
very
those things that like that people like my mom, God bless her, but like people who like grew up in the 70s to like the mid 90s just like think that cooking is taking like a can of French onion soup or of cream of mushroom soup and like mixing a vegetable in it and then
Yeah.
baking that or
Yeah.
my mom has like 3 recipes I can think off the top of my head that I've eaten probably 400 times that are essentially put something in a can of cream of mushroom soup.
That's hilarious.
I mean, you see those old, like, think about those old cookbooks. Like, you ever see, like, those old cookbooks or ads where it's like, oh, like, make something that you should not ever do with this can of Campbell's soup or this, or Jell-O, or, like, cook a whole fucking turkey in your microwave. Like, that's a normal thing.
I will say this. I have spent I've spent over a year of my life in total living with white people. As long as they are making things that are cooked and edible and not just like raw chicken, whatever, dude. Just do whatever you want to do. All right. I've literally been served raw chicken before. All right. It's something that I genuinely feared for my life. As long as you're not doing that, I am full support of you doing whatever the hell you want to do.
You know, that's actually an Asian thing. So you are canceling. You are ignoring POC right now. You are minimizing their contributions.
That's true. I always forget that all POC are the exact same, and that I need to recognize that.
Yeah. No, it is.
Grace, come to my Thanksgiving, come to my Christmas, and we will give you all the casseroles. You'll have sweet potato casserole. You'll have green bean casserole.
The thing is, I would love to go to your Christmas if Amy and her family are invited. 100%.
Amy's invited.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. No, I'm not gonna go there. I'm sorry.
Woo! I think this is a good time to plug the Sports Spectacular. Sports Spectacular is coming on Saturday, December 7th.
I was about to get in the cards, but yeah, go ahead.
No.
I was all teed up for it, but you go ahead.
I'm just trying to move on before we get we never make it to Means TV. Anyways, that shit. I think that ties up. I think a little bit too of last week when we were kind of joking around with it, and it makes anyways. So speaking of men who have disturbing views about women, friend of the show Aubrey Huff, and also other friend of the show, I can't remember his fucking name, Rollo Baggins or something. What is his actual name? The guy who wrote the Rational Male, I can never remember his actual name. Apparently, Aubrey Huff. I'm gonna put the tweets up just so people can kind of get an idea. Aubrey Huff has like kind of been going down this path. He was like a Trump guy, and he'll go on like rants where people will tell him that they fucking hate him, and he should remember that he wasn't very good at baseball. I think he started either this year or last year like during spring training, he was going on something about some bootstrap rant where people were like dunking on him for like having like a career WAR of like 80, or I mean a career like OPS plus of like 80. And, like, but yeah, so he's back. He's doing tweets where he's basically like tweeting. He starts with the one these last 2 years after my divorce, where his wife left him because he was addicted to doing a shitload of Adderall, then drinking a case of beer and banging Hooters waitresses.
Jesus Christ.
It was all good up to that last point. To be fair, everything was good.
Hey, nothing wrong with shout out to Hooters waitresses. I don't know where you would find one, because I feel like there aren't very many Hooters left in this world. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, these last 2 years after my divorce, I found this. What was that?
Are you trying to tell us something?
Tell you what?
That
Okay,
Hooters
never
are going
mind.
out of business, is what he's saying.
I
That's
think so.
what I meant to say.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I was saying.
Yes,
exactly.
I'm looking at Hooters locations. How many? But go on. Please
Anyways.
continue.
These last 2 years after my divorce, I found this quote by Rational Male, which is Rolo. Great follow. Check that guy out. He's incredible. To be the most important part of my transition out of being a married man. I lost who I was married. I did the work after divorce and found my masculinity, independence, and confidence again. Hashtag do the work. The quote is, the real test for a man is how he lives with himself alone. Precious few men ever truly allow themselves to be alone and learn real independence and self-reliance. I don't know if that's like a masturbation thing or that he's going with. But yeah, so he kind of kept going. People were dunking on him. Then he started saying some wild shit about women in general.
This is what I did not see.
I'm not talking about these wonderful women like your mom. My mom did the same when my dad was murdered. I'm talking about gold diggers who marry for money, never expecting to work. They take advantage of a crooked system when they're rewarded for divorce. He he must have just had some sort of settlement in family court that set him off because he was doing a lot of stuff like that. In the extended cuts of Coming to America, even Akeem loses half of his kingdom to Lisa, a woman he dragged out of a McDowell's in Queens. The funniest part is he's tagging Rollo in like all of this stuff, and I went through Rollo's faves. He liked just the first one. Like Rollo doesn't even give a shit about this, which is like the funniest part because he's doing like a whole like notice me senpai type thing. And the funniest thing about Rollo is Rollo thinks watching sports makes you a cuck. So I think he legitimately has no respect for Aubrey Huff, which is kind of
watching other men is emasculating.
I think it makes you gay or something.
Watching other men.
Yeah, something like that. Ouch. Watching other men be good at something while you do nothing is that's feminized or something.
Okay.
The last one that I enjoyed was what makes you think I want a job? I'm rich as fuck and never have to work again. It's midnight and I'm sipping scotch with a hot woman watching Netflix. Gonna be up late. Strong emoji. Have fun in traffic on the way to work tomorrow. Yeah, that's the thing about these guys. They always get into scotch for some reason.
You can relate.
Yeah, I mean, I like drinking scotch. That's what's really funny to me. That's why I'm kind of fascinated by these guys because they're all really into conspicuous consumption of what they consider to be masculine. And it seems like most of their ideas about it came from a reading Playboy in their formative years, and it's oh yeah, if I drink scotch, that makes me a man, which
there's a rule book to follow.
Yeah, and it's it involves buying these things, and treating women like shit is really also the key.
I also like a nice touch on that is he's I'm here drinking scotch, sitting next to a hot ass woman who has been staring silently at me for the last 90 minutes as I go on this Twitter rant.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure she's really pleased at you, Aubrey, for doing that.
Hey, I mean, that sounds like, that's my wife, a very hot woman who sits and watches a man go on Twitter rants. instead of paying
Ooh.
attention.
We should move on to that. We should move on. What's the next thing you're gonna say, Adam?
Also,
I pay attention to my wife. I love my wife.
One thing, I gotta get this in. I looked up Hooters locations. How many are there? Check out this shit. See if you can see it.
You're a little grainy. 420, baby.
Wow.
420 Hooters, baby.
Smoke it up. Okay, so there is one. I saved the best for last of Aubrey. Is in the middle of having this tweet storm where he's ranting about women, trying to get Rolo to, I don't know, put him on the payroll or something. He's like definitely trying to like start entering that grift world of they call it the manosphere if you're unfamiliar with these guys. Just sad men who think that they are warriors because they carry a fucking Glock 19 to their fucking job fixing computer servers or something. Let me see.
Pee Wee football game.
Hold on, I gotta.
Wrapped up to go to Little League game.
Well, do you ever go on that Everyday Carry Reddit? It's like a bunch of fucking IT nerds like packing like 19 round clips and like.
No, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's insane. Okay, here I'm sending you guys in the chat the picture. Aubrey. Okay. So in the middle of all this tweeting, he tweets this. There's nothing more therapeutic than painting. Optimus Prime was a childhood favorite of mine. He embodies everything I believe a man should be. He's a leader. He's strong, courageous, encouraging, and battle-tested. Coming along nicely. So, very awesome to know that Aubrey takes his cues of how to perform masculinity from a ancient moron who wrote a book about how to make sure your wife doesn't divorce you. Says weird shit like don't let your wife call you your friend, and a giant robot that turns into a semi truck.
No.
But also,
I will say the painting looks a little nice. I'm not going to brag on the painting. The painting is actually decent.
No,
like
the painting is not at all what's funny here.
No. I mean,
this is one of those
giant
moments.
Robot that has no genitalia. Like there's no. I guess Optimus Prime was voiced by a man.
Right. Assigning.
Guy, but it's also a giant fucking robot with smooth parts. There's nothing going on anywhere.
Can't assign
except for the man voice.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think
exactly.
I can't say. I would think that Optimus Prime carries a gender. I don't think Optimus Prime really worries about it.
Do you guys know, like, you know how like when like a really, I don't know, maybe this is just a black Twitter thing. I honestly don't know. But you guys know when like someone really attractive posts a picture and they have like this long caption and people are just like, dude, just post the picture and go.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what Aubrey Huff should have done here, dude. Just post the picture. It's a cool painting. Just post it and go. Like, don't give this stupid ass shit.
Well, it's very funny. It's very funny that he did this in the middle of like trying to like start positioning himself as like an authority on like how to be a warrior in this fucking in this world that's trying to crush masculinity, and the man on the top of the of that totem pole is fucking Optimus Prime.
This is great. Nah, it's the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
It just don't like Optimus Prime. He embodies everything. Yes, I believe a man should be. Everything a man should be is in Optimus Prime.
Listen, folks. What are the top masculine figures in our society? Brad Pitt from Fight Club, Alf, Optimus Prime. What else?
Please, I can't do this anymore.
Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Fucking
Holy shit.
fucking Gorgamesh from the Trolls. Gilgamesh, is that the evil wizard from the Trolls.
the giant monster, the spirit monster from Spirited Away. Classic male figure.
The robot from that Pixar movie.
All of them. All of the Pixar movies.
Yes.
Especially the robot from that Pixar movie.
Wall-E. Fucking Wall-E.
Wall-E is definitely a gender, like something as he's much more. I'm sorry, I can't even go on. I can't deal with this. That's probably one of the best things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I believe you were about to say Wall-E is the pinnacle of masculinity. I'll just finish that for you.
He embodies everything that a man should be. Wall-E, definitely.
Definitely more so Wall-E than Optimus Prime.
I mean, I guess I don't know. Optimus Prime, I guess, is he's an inspirational character. If I was trying to be a giant robot that came from outer space and turns into a semi-truck sometimes.
I'm just saying, like, of all the robots, though, like we have lots of robots out there to choose from. Even Adam and I earlier we talked about I think his name is like Scott, the robot police dog. There's that robot. There's all these robots that are just. Why Optimus Prime though?
Optimus Prime is better than the cop robot, the cop dog robot.
No, I mean I agree. I just wanted to show the range of robots that we have.
Of course, the most male figure of all, Luigi from Luigi's Mansion, only from that one game.
He's very courageous. Luigi in Luigi's Mansion shows you what a man who has finally realized that he can be comfortable knowing himself and believing in his own courage, and not just spending his whole day, not just counting bravery as not jacking off for a fourth time today, because that's really honestly what these guys really are. Like they act like they're fucking Marines in Iwo Jima because they didn't jack off 5 times today. Like that's 100% what these victories they have won are.
Listen, folks, was Luigi scared in Luigi's Mansion? Of course. He was in a spooky mansion. It was haunted. Of course, it's scary. Did he keep going? Yeah, he did.
Yes. He embodies to me.
He kept vacuuming up ghosts. You know why?
He's strong, courageous,
and he knew what he had
encouraging, battle-tested.
He got in it.
Oh my God.
He got to a save point. He said, "Am I going to jack off for a 5th time today?" And he said, "No, I'm not. I'm going to go vacuum up more ghosts. That's what I do in this mansion."
I guess to be fair, though, if you had told me that someone was going to go on this 2 days of tweeting, I probably would have picked Aubrey Huff even during his playing career because he was the rally-thon guy. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that he was also just like a fucking just brain-poisoned fucking black-pilled wife divorce court guy.
But who I need to get a Twitter and just start rattling shit off is Brian McCann, because Brian McCann is now retired. All right, Brian McCann, for those of you who don't know, is the sergeant of the Fun Police in baseball, and he just retired, I think, after this year, right? So he's got all this free time, and I can't wait for him to just go off. He's gonna be the Aubrey Huff, but better.
Yeah, I think he would definitely be a good Twitter. You know what? Honestly, who I would have thought that would have done this that ended up not being like that is Michael Young. Like Michael Young is like, for a baseball player, like Che Guevara. I mean, I'm not suggesting he's really that great. Like he's kind of like maybe like a little bit left of center. But if you had asked me in 2012 who would be the divorce court guy, I probably honestly would have picked Michael Young. And I want to apologize to Michael Young for thinking that about him.
See, I grew up. I had a vision because as a child, because I always loved Michael Young. He was definitely one of the first white men I thought was cool,
Yeah,
and apparently I was right.
you have better instincts than I do, I
Yeah, well, I
guess.
have to say I don't know anything about him though since he's retired. Like, what have you been reading?
He'll tweet stuff. Let's just go for a little sampling. He'll usually just kind of he'll tweet like, um, like woke for an athlete type stuff about athletics
Yeah.
and
Nate, do you know who Michael Young is, Nate?
Vaguely. Let me Google him.
Nate, you
He's
gotta
like
put your
this.
headphones back on. You're feeding back.
Me?
Yeah.
Give me a minute.
Yeah, Michael Young here. Like, he also just like he watches a lot of sports and like generally like offers like not like he would be good as a commentator, I think. But let's see. Let's just try and find a good one.
No, I thought Michael Young was a black guy, so this is the wrong.
No, he's like kind of a
Michael
redneck.
Young.
He's kind of like a redneck dude.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. So you're good with the top 1% and huge corporations openly talking about how ducking taxes and civic responsibilities makes them smart. Instead, you're going to target college kids, many under poverty line, who are getting educated and will eventually join workforce. Take a lap. So pretty solid. Yeah, especially for a baseball player. Like,
Good job.
Yeah, like I mean,
We'll
yeah.
take it.
So yeah, he usually tweets stuff like that. Yeah, I mean he's a good follow. Like he's worth following. Although he did, here's one I just found that you're gonna hate. Absolutely love playing against this guy. Congrats on an incredible career and a legacy of being a fierce competitor and ideal teammate. Salute, Brian McCann, but he spelled it McMahon.
Why? God damn it. Dude,
No, Maurice, he wrote it out like in a way that if you look at the first letter of every line, it just say "fuck Brian McCann." That's code.
I'll let you believe that.
Sneaky.
I'll let you believe that. Oh yeah.
Say,
well, no. Go ahead.
it was kind of changing the subject, so you can go ahead.
No. I didn't have anything interesting to say.
Well, so as Brian McCann has retired. I do want to say that I want to stay current. I want to stay up to date. So the new sergeant of the baseball fund police in 2020 will be. Can we guess him? He's a free agent. Can anybody guess him?
He's a free agent.
The free agent. He's known for just going off on batters who hit home runs and don't immediately sprint around the bases.
I feel like I know who this is.
Good old country boy. Old country boy.
Is it Madison Bumgarner?
That's right, Madison Bumgarner.
Oh yeah.
He's the new sergeant of the fund police. He's very much known for doing exactly what Brian McCann did. So that's going to be my new guy moving forward to shit on. And I'm really kind of scared he's going to sign with the White Sox though.
I am kind of afraid that I don't like him either at all. He's clearly a shithead behind the scenes. He's gonna come out. I bet he comes out like Aubrey Huff type shit. Like that was the thing with Aubrey Huff. It's like everybody was like, it like came out after. It was like I think we covered it on here, but they were like, yeah, everybody fucking hated you, dude. But like I guess he was kind of fun. Like I mean, yeah, like the rally thong thing I guess was funny. That's because he was married. He was being cucked by women. He was being feminized. He wasn't himself, as he says. So who knows if he would still be wearing the rally thong. So
that's very true.
I bet he does still. I mean, under that Optimus Prime, what he was wearing.
That's what he should have done. He should have done Optimus Prime in the thong. Yeah, I guess there's still a chance. The crotch area is not finished in the painting that he showed. So, yeah. So
that would be a very woke tweet if he said what he said about masculinity and Optimus Prime, and then he finishes the drawing and the dude is like in a thong and heels. Like that would be a pretty woke tweet. That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
I think you're asking too much.
Yeah.
I think you're asking too many layers of subtlety from this man.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's definitely he definitely Yeah, has a fucking brain full of pine tar for sure.
Where did you come up with that?
I don't know, man. I got riffs.
Oh man.
That's what you guys have me
Okay.
on here for. Speaking of baseball, the kind of last thing I want to cover. Oh yeah, well, real quick before we do that, just a little plug again. Sports Spectacular, December 7th, in the AM. We got some fun. We got Audrey Bowler, Puck Bunny, Sam Knight of District Sentinel, Anders Lee of Pod Damn America / the comedy circuit, right? He's a comedian.
Oh yeah, he's also on Redacted tonight on RT.
Okay. So
Yeah.
and then also Gabe Fernandez, who's been on the show before. He was with Deadspin. He's great. He also hosts. I don't know if they're still doing it. He hosts a leftist podcast, a sports podcast called Moving the Chains. That's also good. So yeah.
Gabe does.
Yes. He also hosts a Maryland podcast about Maryland athletics. So
that'll be funny. I want to watch that.
Yeah. So so kind of to wrap up here, we had Bernie coming out. Bernie's been firing off. I would say other than maybe Yang, he's the sports candidate. Bernie is. Yang definitely does a lot of tweeting about the NBA in particular. He actually came out to talk about the James Wiseman thing. People asked him about that, and he had a Yang-like take on it. But Bernie, other than Yang, I think Bernie is the sports candidate. But Bernie tweets, MLB is proposing to cut 42 minor league baseball clubs. This has nothing to do with what's good for baseball and everything to do with greed. It would destroy thousands of jobs and devastate local economies. I'm urging MLB Commissioner Manfred to stop this proposal. He has a longer letter that I'm not going to read here, but you can go find it on Twitter if you want to read the rest.
It's pretty clear. I mean, my conspiracy is that the whole Astros cheating scandal is not even real. It's really just to mask what the MLB is doing in deleting all of these or getting rid of all these minor league teams. And so Manfred doesn't really have to answer to those questions. He doesn't have to answer to Bernie Sanders.
Well, he could if they call a fucking hearing on it, because they could call a hearing on it. That's the thing. They could call a hearing on baseball's antitrust exemption.
Oh wow!
They could do that. That's what they do with the steroids. So Nate, what were you saying?
Oh,
I was saying it's so wild. It's like all of the steps that MLB takes seem designed specifically to be like, we would like less fans. We want not as many.
It's like baseball. People are sick of baseball. Like, let's start phasing it out of our society.
I was talking to a buddy about how like a huge thing, like a huge reason for like the popularity of the NBA exploding is like people put like basketball clips online and like break them down and talk about players. The whole cottage industry of just like NBA blogger types who do like video vloggers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my buddy was saying like the MLB immediately takes down anything you put up. Like if it's not from the licensed MLB account, they will take your shit down immediately.
Unless you're John Boy, who is like I'm kind of on the fence about. He's okay.
Why are you on the fence about him?
Yeah. Because I think it's becoming clear that he's like working more directly with MLB, and it's like making them lame. Well,
either way.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then it's just like 42. I mean, it's self-evident. There's 42 cities where it's like this is their exposure to baseball, and it's like, you know what? You know who we should really use as a model for how to run our sport and grow it? The Chicago Blackhawks, who said, fuck no, I don't want to be on TV because TV is a lame source of media. And they took themselves off of TV for like 30 years in like the 60s through 90s.
They didn't broadcast home games.
Yeah, and they went from like one of the most popular in the Brett Hull era, like the most popular team in Chicago, to like the also ran, like the 5th most popular team in Chicago.
Yeah.
And the MLB looked at that and went like, that's a fucking awesome business model. That's a fucking idea. Let's do that.
Because there was a guy. So I thought it was kind of interesting how quickly. Because remember when we talked about that fucking 538 article that was like talking about this? Like that is now just feeling like completely fucking like manufacturing consent. Like MLB like said like, hey, will you write like an article propagandizing this thing we're already planning on doing? Because like the whole thing too is like they're trying to cut it because they're getting pissed that people are noticing that they're not paying the minor league athletes. So to them, it's just not worth the effort. It appears, and
well, and too, like we said, like now they can like pay them like more money and then ostensibly get away with it because, you know.
Well, and it does seem legitimately like they are now also too trying to push development into college baseball because like college baseball players are getting drafted more, and you definitely get the feeling that they're like, oh, like we should just do what the NBA and the NFL do, and we just offload that entire cost to like an organization that runs like a slave labor, you know, like runs a fucking plantation.
It's so stupid. I mean, like we've gone to Durham games when I've been there, and it's like this is exposure to baseball. You have to expose people to the sport because guess what? Bad news, folks. Kids don't play pickup baseball anymore. There are no fucking rapscallion Italian kids in the Bronx who are just like picking like going out, and every time a car comes by they go, oh, a car, and they go off the street and they come back with a little stick in there. It doesn't fucking happen anymore. No one's playing baseball. You have to expose these kids. And I don't know why I'm getting mad. It's funny. Like it's everything you're doing is for the own destruction of your thing.
An interesting take I've been seeing on it is it kind of like people are kind of like talking about like how this is like kind of like a furthering of how like these large corporations like view people in rural areas. Because some guy crunched the numbers in Bernie's mentions, and I don't know, I think he wrote a piece I didn't really read, but he kind of summarized it in his tweets. He said like the 42 teams, like the average distance to a major league team is like something like 250 miles, so 4-ish hours of driving. 3-ish, I guess, if you have a freeway or whatever. And then he said like Iowa has like 6 teams that they're talking about folding, and Iowa is blacked out for 5 baseball teams. So like they won't even be able to watch. Like it's like they literally will stop. They like you're cutting off like a way to get them interested in something they could be watching, like and giving you money for. In these like areas that like kind of like that like also probably spent like a decent amount of money upgrading minor league baseball stadiums, building a minor league baseball stadium, or attracting the team to the city in the first place. So,
and it's also like we've talked about how, and plenty of people have talked about how like the Trump phenomenon is like not actually like poor like struggling whites, mostly like fucking like jacuzzi dealers and like car salesmen.
Exactly.
Like that's what it is. And like so you're just furthering this thing where the only people that will go into baseball are like those type of kids, the kids who are like say they're rural but they actually have Ford 150 trucks. And those are the only types of because you're going to cut out, like I'm looking here, they're going to cut like 9 Appalachian teams. And also it's like MLB is saying, hey, it's a real big thing that we don't have any Black American players. It's like a drawing up market. And you know, it's a really great idea for trying to like get more Black American kids excited about baseball. How about cutting the minor league teams for Chattanooga, Jackson, Mississippi, and Birmingham? How about that? Like that seems a really chill idea to do that.
Wait, Birmingham,
Alabama, yeah.
Well, I don't.
Is that on the list?
That's a majority.
Well, I know, but it's on the list to cut it.
Yes, that is on the list to cut.
What?
Oh shit.
That's insane. Because that's like
I
a
did
very
not know that.
historic team.
Yeah. Holy, I did not. Jesus.
Still, there are four
That's a
AA teams. There are four AA teams on the cut list: Chattanooga and Jackson in the Southern League.
Chattanooga,
Birmingham
that
and
team is
Erie in the Eastern League.
that team is incredibly popular too.
Who cares? Says the MLB.
What the fuck?
Holy shit.
The dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. Holy
Yeah, that's-
fuck. I hate baseball so much.
Like, let's just cut the major way that like people interact with baseball in like 4 majority black cities in America. I'm not sure if Chattanooga is majority black, but like I know that Jackson and Birmingham are.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. That's so fucking stupid. Oh my god, I hate
Anyway, fuck
I
them. I don't know why I'm
baseball.
getting so mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
They're
baseball
stupid
is
beyond-
fucking
they were
dumb as
stupid.
hell.
But we knew that.
All right. Well, we have a call about the Astros. Actually, I think it got sent in at the end of the episode last week, so it's a little old, but it's still
Let's do it,
good.
baby.
Where is the
All right.
call?
It's in the email I sent you.
Okay.
Gotcha.
It's entitled.
Can you be riff for 30 seconds?
I'll riff for 30 seconds. Doing a riff. Yeah, so I woke up this morning. I ate Wendy's for the first time in like 15 years, and I woke up screaming and just about shit my pants. It was so painful. Maurice, you're muted still. I don't know if you wanted to riff on me crapping myself. No, okay, I figured.
I have the call now.
Okay, I am going to play the call. Right, you don't have to mute yourself for this because you can talk over the call. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's just the intro that we have to mute for. All right, I'm playing it right.
You ready?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
First off, solidarity to Adam for his unjust ban, but I gotta be real, it's really
True.
funny that you're banned, so I don't really
Not funny.
want you to be unbanned. That's
It's
just
pretty funny.
thinking dialectically. But I guess I just wanted to say that the Astros, fuck the Astros too. We say fuck the Cubs, we also gotta say fuck the Astros. They're just a bunch of finance guys, and they did what finance guys do, which is fucking cheat. So, I'll take my answer off the air, thanks.
Finance guys do indeed cheat. They are fucking assholes. That is kind of like the thing with the Astros is like they've come out as it's just like everybody you hate that ruins your life at work.
Well, that's
Are they owned by finance guys? Oh, go ahead.
They're owned by I think what's his name? The guy who owns Jim something. I think he's an oil guy.
That is something that we haven't talked about on the show though. Is like that's like sort of like the cherry on top of the Astros becoming the new evil empire. Is how they've like taken Moneyball and like expanded it and making it something that is like just repulsive,
Yeah. 1 second. Rewind it back. Nate, it wasn't Birmingham. It's Binghamton. That's being.
Oh, in New York.
Yeah.
It is Chattanooga, though.
Yes, Chattanooga Lookouts are on there. Chattanooga Lookouts, so fuck them because they're the ones. They did like some they did some racist ass video. Weren't they the? Oh no, that was Fresno, but they did do a racist video too. I was thinking of the one that Fresno did. The Fresno Grizzlies did where it was like the Antifa's killing America and like all that shit.
Yeah.
You don't remember that one? It was like they
No.
had some video like salute to the troops or something, and it was like Antifa and like AOC was in it. It was so fucking horrible.
Oh, shit, when? Recently, obviously.
Yeah, it was this year. But yeah, it is very funny to see like the Astros go down like this and turn out that they're basically just a bunch of fucking like finance guys that and they're getting brought down by doing all the things that finance guys do. Like oh shit, they made a bunch of like sexist comments. They cheated. They didn't pay people enough. They're trying to get rid of minor league baseball.
That's what I was
It's
saying.
also amazing. It's amazing how predictable the whole cycle is. Like every single time, whether it's like baseball, in the finance world, it'll be like this startup finance firm is giving 29% returns to its investors. Like, that's incredible. Like, how are they doing it? Like, is it magic? And then like 2 years later, like, oh, they were lying and cheating to everybody. By the way, sorry about that. For baseball, it's like this team went from a 62-win team to a 127-win team in 1 year. Is it magic? And it's like, oh no, they were cheating. I'm sorry again, they were cheating. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. It's like because that was the whole thing. It's like, oh, look, what market inefficiency have they found? Like they were ahead of the catcher framing and all this stuff. Their scouting is so incredible. Like they found Jose Altuve, who just wanted, he fits like their style of play so perfect, where it's like the underrated guy that they can work around and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, no, they were just openly cheating. Is how they got so good. That is definitely, I would say, a great metaphor for living in America in the 21st century, for sure. Exploitation of the global South, and then just lying about how you are doing something.
Especially with those finance guys too, because it's like the whole like financialization of everything means like we're all smart guys here, but I guarantee none of us understand how they really make money. Like all those guys in like financial markets. Like how the fuck do you? So they can just be like, how do you make money? And they're like, I'm really magic. And we're like, oh, it's magic? Magic's real? Oh my god! Like every time we're fooled every time. They're like, oh no, they were just
the financial markets. That's like some shit that always blew my mind. Is that like Illinois offered like, and this isn't just Illinois, but they offered a financial engineering degree, which
what does that mean?
I have no idea. I have no. You engineer finances. I guess it seemed like a lot of like linear algebra and probably lying would be so.
That's the chief course.
Yes.
Yeah, you actually, if you don't prove that you were cheating but just didn't get caught, you failed the class at the end of it. I just realized I didn't get outro music. So you guys want to riff for a second while I pull some music up for the out?
Dude,
maybe just give a rundown of like what we're doing this coming up. Redo the.
Please go for it.
Yeah.
Oh well, I was not gonna give a rundown of what's coming up. It's not where I was going.
Well, go with wherever you're going.
I was just gonna recap how I felt about the Astros and how excited I am about people to continue the Pete Rose should not be banned arguments, because from a baseball standpoint, Pete Rose should not have been banned, but also from a personal standpoint, Pete Rose is a piece of shit human being, and I don't like him at all, and I'm just very excited that his name is being brought up more and more and more because of the Astros. Shout out to the Astros for making baseball better for that reason.
Yeah, I just added the music. So so closing out here. One more time, just remember we have the Sports Spectacular coming up Saturday, December 7th. A lot of fun people. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm very excited for it. Then also Wednesday night, we're doing a little test out. What are you doing? What?
I was pointing to all of us, but then I realized in the layout it's different, so I have to go like that.
Yeah. I thought you were trying to tell me you were leaving. Anyways,
you're up on my layout.
Oh, okay.
You're above me.
So on Wednesday, we're also doing I'm doing a little special thing with Kane's Ombudsman. We're calling it Hockey Night in Carolina. It will be, we're gonna watch the Canes game. It's the day before Thanksgiving. It's going to be kind of a looser format. We're just going to have it on. It's just going to be two dudes hanging out, having a conversation. We're not going to talk just sports. Probably some music about how we wish we could quit our jobs and go live in a van. stuff like that. We'll probably do some riffing. I have a riff I saved that I still need to work on about if Liz Warren went to the Tool show. So I'll probably unveil it on that. So that will be 7 o'clock Eastern. I might even throw up some. I got an air fryer now, so I might even make some air fryer wings and share some recipes with people. Yeah, I'll share some recipes.
I don't know what that is.
It's like basically just a convection oven, but it's it's pretty nifty. I made some buffalo chicken sandwiches in it the other day that were pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Come to visit.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make some chicken wings. I think. We'll go over. I think that's kind of what we're gonna be doing it a little on and off, maybe once a month or so. We'll pick a game. Me and him are just gonna hang out. I'll give you a recipe or something on how to make. Just how to live that Southpaws lifestyle,
Right.
like it's that's what we're gonna be doing. How to be and it's obviously
You
titled.
want to do a Illinois basketball one?
Yeah, we could do that. We could do one of those. And Nate and I just watched Illinois basketball together on the over the chat. So, yeah. So that will be fun. That would be a lot of fun. Kane's ombudsman is a very funny fucking dude.
Yeah, he is.
Very, very knowledgeable about sports as well. So he's always a fun conversation to have. Other than that, I don't think we got anything else planned yet. Yeah. I don't know. Follow us on Twitter. You see our handles here. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube as well now too. You'll get notifications when we go live. So you won't forget to watch the show. I think it helps boost. I've noticed that people, I guess, it looks like people are watching it just because YouTube is telling them to watch it. So that's always good to fight the Nazis in this way, to make them watch our show instead. We
should rename all our videos Southpaws Destroys SJW with Facts and Logic.
Anything to get asses in seats, is what I'm saying. So until Wednesday, until next week for the other two, we'll see you then. All right, bye. Hold on, I guess. Okay, there we go.